The Democratic Senate Campaign Committee put their support behind Amy McGrath for unseating Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. What they didn't count on, however, was Kentucky's legislature not falling in line to support her during the primary.
So out of 38 Democratic House caucus members, 16 of them, including 3 leadership members, backed Kentucky State Representative Charles Booker instead. Kentucky House Democratic leader Joni Jenkins remarked that she has, quote, a lot of confidence in the voters of Kentucky that they will not be bought, that they are going to look at the character and experience instead. Representative Booker joins us now to share more about his candidacy. Charles, it's great to see you.
Good morning. It's great to see you.
Morning, Charles.
Talk to us just about your campaign, why you decided to run, and what the message is that you're running on.
Well, I'm stepping up really out of survival, and so many Kentuckians are feeling the struggle, and I've lived it. I'm from the west end of Louisville. Louisville's one of the most segregated cities in the country still, and I come from what has been for years the poorest zip code in the state, and just seeing a lot of struggles, a lot of trauma lit a fire in me, and made me want to fight back. And I've worked in every level of public service trying to figure out how does the government work better. And everywhere I would go, I'd see how Mitch McConnell blocks progress. And certainly in the state legislature where he controls so much. So we're taking a stand against him so we can beat him because we got to win our future.
So, Charles, what distinguishes you from, the DSC, the Democratic Senate Committee's choice, Amy McGrath? What is it between your two platforms that led these lawmakers in order to choose you? And ultimately, why you believe you are a better choice than her in order to take Mitch McConnell on in the fall?
Well, first of all, I'm not a pro-Trump Democrat. And Kentuckians need real change. This is not a time for the political status quo because we're suffering. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I've had to ration my insulin because I couldn't afford it. Nearly died from that. A lot of Kentuckians know that story, and we cannot afford to just play the same game that is running to a soft center, being protested, not really leaning into issues, not having a vision. Listen, we're tired of that. And Mitch McConnell's been in office my entire life. We know he's terrible. He's been screwing us for decades. So just turning him down isn't enough. And that's why my message is resonating, because I'm saying that this is bigger than him. In fact, it's not even about him. It's about the people of Kentucky, and I've proven it. So I have a record of standing up for families, for labor, for students, for teachers, for folks that are concerned about their future. And that's why folks are standing with me now.
Yeah. Representative Booker, I should disclose, we've gotten to know each other back when I lived in Louisville. And so I've gotten to see you work in the community. And one of the things that you speak to accurately is Louisville is one of the most segregated cities in America. And Kentucky reflects a lot of the divides that we see in America in general, by race, also by geography, rural versus urban. How are you going about bridging some of those divides?
That is so true. And I think one of the important points in this campaign is speaking to the common bonds that we all share. We have to break down these barriers, the silos, the partisan divides, the geographical divides, the racial divides, and we're seeing it at a peak right now in our country. And so the truth that living in the west end of Louisville, which in many cases is much more similar to Appalachia than it is to even the rest of Louisville, gives me the chance to sit down with folks that may have never sat down with someone quite like me and talk about our common bonds. Listen, my mom worked multiple jobs just to put food on the table. Kentuckians know what that's about. I've had cousins murdered the last 4 years. Kentuckians know that trauma. And by shining the light on the fact that we are in this together and our common enemy is Mitch McConnell, we're able to build a movement. And that is exactly what's happening right now.
And Representative Booker, can you react to, we've been watching, a spate of racist violence unfolding across America. We had Ahmaud Arbery, who was hunted down. We had an incident in Louisville, Breonna Taylor, that you can speak to. And of course, now in Minneapolis, Floyd George being, killed by police in that city, and protests and riots erupting right now. What is the connection between those incidents? How does that figure into your campaign, and what are you seeing on the ground there in Louisville?
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now is really at the heart of why my campaign and my candidacy is so critical and why so many Kentuckians are standing with us. We need system-level change. And what we've seen here in Louisville with Breonna Taylor, what's happening in Minneapolis as we speak, goes to the heart of the fact that for so many of us, our humanity is denied. Our voices are silenced. Justice is not accountable for us. And in many cases, if you look like me, if you come from where I come from, you're going to be seen as a deadly weapon before you're seen as a human being. And so many Kentuckians, so many Americans, so many people feel ignored, and they're fighting back, and rightfully so. And my campaign is in a testament to that, and saying that I honor your humanity, and I'm pushing for structural change. Now listen, Mitch McConnell will never talk about structural racism. Neither will a pro-Trump Democrat. But if we don't get to the heart of these real issues, we're not going to be able to end generational poverty. And that's the big deal that we're facing as a people. And my heart goes out to the folks in Minneapolis right now. I carry a lot of trauma. Like I mentioned, I've had cousins murdered for the last 4 years, and one of them was really good friends with Breonna Taylor. And no one should have their life taken away, especially when they've done nothing wrong.
Yeah. Wow. So talk to us about, how do you win? You're up against, not only Mitch McConnell, but the DSCC. Amy McGrath has raised millions and millions of dollars from across the country. There's another progressive who we're going to interview in the race as well. Talk to us about the path to victory and why you think that you've got the best shot.
Yeah, well, you win by building a movement. Like I said, Mitch McConnell's an institution, so tearing him down isn't enough. We have to inspire people to believe that things can actually be different. And I'll tell you, a young black man from the poor zip code in Kentucky that is standing up, look Mitch McConnell in the eyes and say it's time to go, is inspiring folks. And I'm the only person in this race that's in elected office. I've actually had to pass legislation with our own mini Donald Trump and Matt Bevin, which you know very well. And the proof that I will stand for organized labor, I will stand for teachers, which is why a lot of labor has stepped up to endorse me. And a lot of young people are organizing like never before, had 38,000 dials in a day, raised over 20,000 in a day. Folks are fired up because they know this is about them for a change. And standing up for a Green New Deal, Kentucky New Deal, in fact, Medicare for all, a universal basic income is not because consultants told me I should believe in this, but it's because I'm listening to the people of Kentucky. And that's why we're taking this stand here. And we're absolutely going to beat Mitch McConnell because we don't have a choice.
All right, where do people go to the website to check you out?
Well, I would move so you can see it behind my head, but you can go to bookerforkentucky.com. We are building a very people-powered movement where regular people can get involved. If you've never been involved in politics before, so what? Your voice matters. Go to bookerforkentucky.com.
Well,
All right.
Congratulations, Charles. Appreciate you joining us.
Great to see you as always.
Of course, it's good to see both of you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Next on Rising, more than 40 million Americans have filed for unemployment. Our thoughts on the economic crisis facing the United States when Rising continues.